Howdy, 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 folks. It's your boy Tanks back with another monster tank review for you guys. Like always, if you guys want to see the rest of the playlist for all of the monster tank reviews that I have to date, check the top right of your screen right here, and it'll show you all of the monster tanks that I've already reviewed. You should do that because the new Monster Hunters game ops are coming out very soon. You guys, Wargaming just announced them, so this will be a good way for you to decide what monster tank you guys want to pick for free. Anyway, more of that at the end of this video. Let's get into what we're doing today, and that is the Revenant Kraft Panther. Now, this thing's Awoken Powers is insane, honestly. Its first thing that it can do is that it plays dead. You can't auto-lock on this. There's no outline of this tank. It doesn't pop up on your enemy's radar. This thing is, for lack of a better word, invisible unless you're looking right at him, and even then you're still not 100% that you're gonna see him, because the only time that this thing doesn't look like that Kraft Panther in front of me is when it's moving. When it's moving, all of my lights on my tank light up red. That's the only way that you'll be able to identify this from a Revenant that's just sitting around on the map right now, because the Revenants are scattered. You look in front of me, they're everywhere. They're all stationary tanks, and they're all sitting still to make it look like this tank is also dead. So what this thing also can do is that it doesn't take full damage unless you shoot it in the turret. So if you shoot this thing in the hull, there's a chance for you to incredibly low roll, like not even do anywhere near the damage that you should be doing to it. Combine that with not being able to auto aim this tank. If you're a light tank trying to shoot this thing on the move, it makes it such a hard target to kill, honestly. Now, on Wargaming's website, they tell you zero about any of this stuff. They don't tell you that you don't show up on the radar. They don't tell you that you can't be auto-aimed. They don't tell you that you can't take full damage unless you're shot on the turret. Wargaming's explanation for this Awoken power, which I'll show at the end, is literally disgusting. Doesn't tell you anything about this tank except that it's dead and hard to track. But then again, when does Wargaming ever really paint a good full picture or description for anything in this game? I digress. That's what I'm here for, you guys. I'm here to tell you guys all the little nitpicky things about this tank. Now, the next thing that I want to point out about this tank is that it has two ammo types. The first one being an AP shell that does around 200 alpha and has a decently quick reload. And the second ammo type, which is the one that I'm trying to mainly use, is 800 alpha damage APCR. Has a long reload of 19 seconds, but 800, you guys, that is huge. That is the equivalent of doing half the health on a Spectre. Now, how should you be playing this tank, you guys? This thing is not a frontline fighter. This tank relies on the fact that it cannot be seen and that it can just play dead with the rest of the tanks in this match. So what you want to do is load this APCR. This APCR will literally wreck enemy tanks. And as soon as you shoot it, you want to turn your turret to the left or turn it in a direction that you're not facing the tank that you just shot. Because if they see where they're gonna see where the shot came from, you know? And if they look over in your direction and they see a Kraft Panther staring right at them, even if you're not glowing red or moving or anything, they have a 50% chance of hitting you and guessing that that is correctly you. So what you want to do is, as soon as you're done shooting a tank, if they're going to look at you, you want to turn your turret to the left and you want to hold your right bumper down so that it makes your gun freeze in a certain direction. So that way they still think that you are a dead tank. Like right there, I shoot that guy, I turn a little bit to my left so my gun isn't facing this guy, and then I hold that position until he's backed up. As soon as he's backed up, I can move my turret back and try to get another shot off on him. The element of surprise is key in this tank. You can't be up in the front one-on-one in with people because you don't have enough hit points to do that, and your DPM isn't the best with the APCR gun. It is good with the other gun, but if you're going up against something with that's like a kaiju or something, you're going to be having a bad time. Now let's watch this engagement right here. The Wraith has finally noticed what is me and what is not me.
What did he say?
He's using his blood-sucking power right now, and he's shooting me in the hull. So he is not going to get a lot of health back. And another cool thing that I noticed is that even if he doesn't pen me, he still gets health back, which is interesting. So right now, he can't auto-aim me. So him trying to move around my tank while still trying to aim me is a hard task. While I can take here and I can weather his shots all day long. Because the armor on the tank is very troll. I will say it's very, very troll. He's barely doing any damage to me. And it gives me plenty of time to just keep slapping him for all of his HP. Now, I also want to start backing up, because the last thing you want to do in this thing is come face to face with a freaking Gorniche. They will absolutely obliterate you. This is why staying hidden and using what your tank's Awoken power is by just completely looking dead and blending in with all the other dead tanks in this map is so key, because the Gorniche and the Kaijus, they both have way more hit points than you. You cannot weather their storm. You don't have enough DPM to out DPM them. And the Revenant is also super slow. I didn't tell you guys, but I have both of the speed equipment on this tank, and it's still not that fast. If you don't have any of those equipments on this tank, you're not getting anywhere. You're not outrunning anything in this game. So, just another reason why you should play it more defensively. This is the last tank on the enemy team. I've been using the small ammunitions for a while because I honestly thought that I was going to get rushed down by this Gorniche, and I just wanted to be able to do as much damage as I possibly could to him. But look at the damage this thing was able to pull off, you guys. 9,000 damage, doubling the damage of the next highest damage dealer on my team. And this tank can do that pretty easily. As long as you're using that second ammunition, just slapping people for 800, and then slapping people for that little gun whenever you can in the meantime, it works so well. I don't know if I'd say this is my favorite monster tank, but it definitely is my favorite monster tank to just deal damage, to just be slapping out damage all the time, and because of that second ammunition type. And now, just in a second here, we'll go back to the garage, and it'll show you guys what ammunitions, what the stats are, and the Awoken Powers and stuff like that. So I'll talk about that real quickly. You can see right here the two equipment I am using is the 2 speed upgrades. I still run a repair kit, med kit, and a fire extinguisher for those Gorniches, because you don't want to be losing crew members for an entire game in these. It just puts you out of the game. Doesn't make any sense. Here is Wargaming's almighty Awoken power description, okay? The Kraft Panther appears dead on the battlefield and does not show up on radar. That's it. Pretty vague to me. Like I said, this thing doesn't take full damage unless you shoot it in the turret. It also doesn't have an outline. It doesn't have a health bar. You can't auto-aim it. So much more. Way better description. You're welcome. Now in this next clip, I'm going to walk you guys through how you're supposed to play this thing if you want to play dead. So, when I'm not moving right now, even if I'm turning my turret, he can't see anything. There's nothing glowing red. The only time he'll see me is if I shoot right there. If I shoot, my red face lights up, all my red lights light up. He's coming right for me, I freeze. Hold right bumper in whatever direction my turret's facing, because I don't want him to think that I'm moving or looking at him. And then he passes right by me. You see, when I'm not moving like this, all my lights go off. As soon as I shoot him, I turn red for a second, and then I start moving again. This thing, as messed up as it sounds, you sort of want to use your teammates as cannon fodder. You want the enemy tanks to be distracted with them while you dish out the 800 whopping hits to their face holes. Now, watch this next part. All of these guys are cleared out in front of me. My turret is looking to the right. I don't want my turret facing an enemy tank, because that'll give them a better indication that I might be looking at them. Drives right past me. Drives right past me. He doesn't know that I'm right here, so watch, shoot, quickly turn your turret to the right, and hold it. He does not know. If he's looking down his barrel of his gun or something at that time, it's really hard to pinpoint what tank is shooting at you. And that is just how you play this tank. Just a couple pro tips for this tank. The more dead or fake Revenant Panthers that you hide around, the harder it is for an enemy that's going to be able to find you. Also try to avoid cap circles, because obviously there's only a certain amount of those fake Revenants in the cap circle, so they're just going to start going around the cap circle and start firing until they find you. So avoid the cap circles, you guys. Now we can get down to some business about the new Monster Hunters op that's going to be coming out soon. The newest monster tank to join us is going to be called the Death Chariot. It looks amazing. I don't know anything else about it. I don't know its powers or anything, but it looks awesome. The next one's called the Arachnid. Now, I think this is just a reskin of the Fangula, along with the Asterion, which I think is a reskin of the Dread Dozer. But they both look really cool, though. I don't have either of those tanks, but hopefully I can pick them up this year so I can get tank reviews out for you guys. Anyway, you guys, that is going to be it for this video. Why don't you guys do me a favor, ammo rack the like and subscribe button. Go hit the bell, it'll let you know when I drop my next monster tank review. Go into the comments, let me know what your guys' favorite monster tank is. And if you guys want to see my last monster tank video, it'll be at the end of this video. Alright, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Peace out.